How's it going, YouTube? This is the Atheist Chef. Now, if you have not been paying attention, Gman has made a video recently about calling it quits, asking us if we think you should call it quits or not. Now, I initially made a video called Declaration of Grief, and I felt as if Gman was going through the 5 stages of grief or mourning or loss. We noticed that, with the whole Tanya situation, Galaxy Dreams, who's recently on that fence of deconverting or not. And, she was a close friend of Gman, and you can see that in her videos and in his videos. And you see it in the way that he responded to the whole thing. If you remember from the very beginning, it was, the first stage is denial and isolation. He talked about making videos, or he said, I'm not going to join the, Google Hangouts, I'm not going to be, blah, blah. He seemed in complete denial of how she felt or whatever. He moved on to from denial to anger really quickly. And he made a lot of videos, and he declaring war on Eve, and he wanted to make a video, or he wanted to make a Google Hangouts, a debate between him and Eve, and see her morality argument. And when I first heard that, I first thought, okay, now he's bargaining. Now he's trying to debate and challenge and trying to figure out if Eve is, figure out Eve's argument so he can beat it, because he wants Tanya to be there. And then, of course, that he's praying for it, and he's praying to God to have her back. So, again, that's strong bargaining as right there. And then I thought, and I even said at the end of the video, I feel like G-Man's next step is depression. And on top of, now you hear that he's got the problems with his family or personal things, whatever he said the other night. And then this whole Tanya thing, and now he's making this video wondering if he should call it quits, because he was trying so hard to make a Google Hangout to answer questions, such as with the Suzuki DOS and Redline thing. And he just says that things are just kind of falling apart. And you could see it or hear it in his voice. To me, it sounded like he was either really, really tired or close to crying, or both. And, to me, that's, again, I think that's falls along the lines of depression. And then, of course, number 5 is going to be acceptance. Hopefully he hits it soon. Now, I'm not qualified to say that he is going through those things. This is just my interpretation of the things that I'm seeing from G-Man. But to move on, should G-Man call it quits? No. G-Man, I do not think you should call it quits. Not because I could continue to use the views. I mean, if you quit making videos, who am I going to respond to? G-Man, your videos have more, I get more views from responding to you than like anything else. So if you quit, I'm screwed. There's nobody out there as interesting as you to watch, at least as of right now. Nobody's come up that can replace you. So you're valuable to me. So don't quit, damn it. But no, but really though, you shouldn't quit. What you should do is take a look at yourself. Watch some of your old videos. Look at the way that you behave in your videos. Look at the way that you behave in the Google Hangouts. I mean, I can personally say those times that an atheist is talking, and you ask him a question, and then he says something that seems to follow, that it's going to go right into your script, like they're playing right into your hands, and you're laughing and clapping. And when people see that, all they can think is, wow, G-Man is a dick. No. But that's not who you are. And I don't think that's, the kind of image you should continue to convey. I've been in Google Hangouts with you when it wasn't recorded, after it was over, and the several few small Skype calls, like one we had the other night. You were calm, you were rational, you didn't, yell at people. When it came to me and you, that is the kind of G-Man, and I even told you this. That is the kind of G-Man that needs to be on YouTube. That is the kind of G-man that needs to be having these discussions on Google Hangouts, because you're going to get more respect being that kind of G-man. You're going to get less trolling from that kind of G-man. Now, of course, the things you believe may still get some trolling because, being that you're a creationist, don't believe in evolution, etc., etc. That's one thing. But think of the Christians out there: Soyo, Nate, George. Is it George, the unconventional pastor? I don't know if his name is George or Bob. Not even close to each other, but I can't tell which one is which. Anyways, the unconventional pastor, Gary, phony Beatlemaniacs. About 90% of the time, he's very calm and rational. But so just overall, those guys are Christians. They are not getting trolled near as hard as you are. And that's something you should note. Watch them. Watch how they behave. Watch their videos. Watch their discussions. I would learn to emulate those people. If you want to be a part of the discussion, and you want to see success, and you want to see change, and you want to do, better, that's how you need to be. I mean, let's even look at this from the Christian perspective. Is that something Jesus would have done? And I know it sounds kind of weird for an atheist to be saying this, and it may even sound kind of not hypocritical, but whatever. Ozzy, message me and tell me the word that I was thinking of. I don't remember any time where Jesus was spreading this message that if somebody could have had a discussion with him that he was saying those kind of things. He wasn't acting like you would in the Google Hangouts. When you think of Paul or any of the disciples when they were preaching the Gospels, were they doing anything like that? No. I mean, and these were people right from the get-go that had, that for sure, at least according to them, had the best evidence ever that God existed. And when people questioned them, they didn't act this way. Think of the top theological, representatives that are, out today. They're not doing these things. Like Epicurus. This guy, he doesn't raise his voice, and this guy is incredibly smart. And this guy, I totally underestimated him. Not that I expected him to be dumb or anything, but wow, you can listen to this guy talk for a long time. This guy's pretty good. There are people you should learn from, and people you should stop learning from. The people you should stop learning from: Brett King, Richard Raspberry, Jason Burns, True Empiricism, Thick Shades, Nephilim Free. Do you see how all of those types of people are getting trolled for a particular reason? And it's not for their beliefs. It's for how they represent themselves. Now, well, maybe Nephilim Free for his beliefs because he's got some lunar bukkake theory. Anyways. So those types of people, they may be getting more, or they're getting a lot more trolled than saying like Nate or Losoyo. There's a reason for that. It's how they handle themselves. It's how they act on a hangout. It's how they present themselves and how they present their arguments and how well they get into debates and discussions. If you quit acting like them and you quit acting like your older self, then you'll be amazed at how much things change. So I want to give you a page from my playbook, because it's how I handle when I'm talking with you, my thought process going into a hangout with you. And I learned this early on. I learned that for myself personally, that I need to be open to change, and that I could be wrong, because I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, nor do I claim that I have connection with anything that knows everything and that it can tell me everything that is an objective truth. So being that I'm not omniscient, I can be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I love learning new things. And it's learning those new things that have led me to where I am now the evidences that I hear on a regular basis from you and many Christians like you, I've already had those discussions with people. I've already read those discussions, and I've already come to the conclusion that I have for the reasons that I have. And so, but I still remain open because I think that maybe possibly there could be some sort of new argument from a person that I may have never heard before. I do not close myself off to those things. But by golly, it's not going to come from hearing something I've already heard 1,900 times. So when I go into a hangout with you, I also realize that for people like you, I'm not going to change your mind, most likely. I don't make it my goal to change your mind. I come to listen, and then I tell my opinion. They give their evidence. I give my, reply to that, and then compare it with the notes that I have set up with inside me. I also know that I am not the only person in the room besides you. And I don't mean that because there's multiple people in the room. I mean there are people watching this. And Gman, you many times are your own worst enemy because of the way that you behave. People are just going to just pass you off as a gesture, as a joke. Because many times we'll make an argument and then you'll either misrepresent the argument or we're not paying attention, so you follow along your script, and then we have to try and explain it to you over and over again, that was wrong or why this was wrong, and you don't ever seem to learn. And so you are your own worst enemy because people are just going to judge you by your actions. And they're going to look at me being the more calm, more rational, more, just not hyperactive individual. And now, of course, it leads an air of credibility, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm more correct. But when you are behaving in that manner, they're not going to take you seriously. They don't take you as being respectful of your opponent or the person you're having a discussion with. It's very counterintuitive the way you're behaving and what your message is and what your goal is. And that's something you need to be careful of. And that's something that you're going to have to change things if you want to continue on this YouTube community and expect respect. Respect is earned. And what you're doing isn't getting you any respect. It's making you a laughing stock. So I go through the Hangouts, and wow, do people just not pull any punches. They're straight up honest with telling you how they feel. But I wouldn't be discouraged by that. I would be encouraged by that. Because of all these people that commented, if they are willing to be honest with you, that means they care. Maybe not everybody. Maybe some are just being trolls, sure. When you have people like myself or, Ozzy saying things, they want you to be better. They want you to be the G-Man that we know is somewhere in there inside and only comes out when the camera is off. We want that G-Man. We want that G-Man off camera and put him on camera. So follow this advice. Listen to what we're saying. So in closing, take a break. Get your personal shit straight. Figure out what it is that you want. Figure out what it takes to get what you want. Find some people that have done those things. Emulate them. And then get your ass back on YouTube. This is the Atheist Chef signing off. Peace.